Well, welcome to SoCal Sports Report's weekly podcast. I am John Stillman, on board with Vince Morales and John Adams. We've got a load of things to talk about, so we want to get right at it. As we do every week, we give you an idea of what we're going to be covering, so you can be ready for that. Of course, we'll start with the Rams. Disappointing end to what was a tremendous season. We'll look at the Chargers and what they need to do to make the playoffs last year instead of just missing. I heard some more coming in today on the Patriots. They're having quite a triangular eruption in Foxborough with Robert Kraft, Tom Brady, and Bill Belichick. We'll get into that. Sam Darnold and Josh Rosen both go to the NFL. Where are they going to stack up? We'll look at that. And we'll look at Monday's CFP championship game. I'm honored to say I did not watch 1 second of that.
Wow.
I am not a fan of the
look at you.
Of the Alabama coach. Well, this is where we might have some people that would like to call in and be a part of the show. And
what a rebel!
Little argument with that. We'll look at the Lakers. Apparently, Bozo Ball is at it again. Claiming that his son has told him there is disruption in the locker room and that Luke Walton has lost control of the team. We'll talk about that. And what Walton's future is. How do potential free agents look at Walton as a coach? Would they perhaps rather play for a more seasoned veteran coach? We'll discuss that. The Clippers, of course. Kings open up the second half, still, I think, about 7 points off the division lead, but a long way to go. We'll talk about the Ducks. And Trojans and Bruins split up north. Trojans lose a heartbreaker at the buzzer, a 50-foot launch as the clock expired. And the Bruins, I think, lost to Stanford in double OT. So those were 2 wins that both those squads could have had. So let's get started with the Rams. We've got 8 unrestricted free agents. Is that not right?
Something right around there.
Yeah. They could potentially lose up to 14, depending on know how things shake out. But yes.
Where do we go with that? You got Tremaine Johnson. You got Sammy Watkins, Sullivan, Barwin. You've got Coleman, Joyner, Easley, Davis. And you've got to take care of Aaron Donald before next camp. I mean, that you can't piddle around like you did this year.
We've been saying that. We've been saying that all year. When he was holding out, it was give him what he wants. Yeah. I mean, he's just been a bargain. Making $3.2 million this year.
Yeah.
I think he's got a great chance of being Defensive Player of the Year. Exactly. I mean, he really does.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I think the thing is don't futz around with this. Don't franchise tag him. Give him a contract, get it signed, get it done, and get him in, and just keep building around him. Because the defense is the thing that's kept the Rams in games when they weren't very good offensively, and actually showed what could happen when you spin the tables around a little bit. Take a few points away, add a few more points on offense, and you switch from 4-12 to 11-5.
Right.
That's what happens if you keep the core of that defense and let the offense continue to grow and grow and grow.
Very true. In fact, and Darnold's presence too might even attract some other players to want to play in LA.
Well, like Barwin, for instance, who was a free agent that they picked up from the Eagles. That's a big deal because that he's going to get double teamed, and it's going to make your life a lot easier. Barwin, a linebacker. He's going to pick up some sacks, and so that's a delicate balance. I mean, even the defensive backs, you got Nickel Roby-Coleman, who's also going to be a free agent, and then there's you got Joyner and Tremaine Johnson. To me, I think the offense showed that they can go ahead and start the search over for a number 1 receiver. I'm fine with them letting Sammy Watkins leave. I'm fine with that. Save that money, pay Donald, and get some of these other guys.
$4.9 million or something crazy.
And get some of these other guys locked up. That to me, Watkins was kind of underachieved.
I think he disappointed. Yeah.
he did do some good things. I mean, he really ran these guys long, so where these other guys like Wood and Cup could come underneath and catch a lot of balls. I mean,
right.
He was, but really he wasn't a big wow factor like, the speed and what he was all promoted to be out of college. And
I don't think he gave them what they were hoping to get when they made that deal.
Though the offense did grow the way they had hoped.
Right.
So it might not have all been attributed to Watkins but it's sort of, they got where they were going in the end.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though they didn't reach their objective with him, they reached their goal for turning the offense around and getting some wins again in the playoffs. So, of course, they can make it work with Watkins. Do they need to pay the price to keep him? I say they don't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you think the resting the starters in that 49er game had any effect on the Atlanta?
No, I don't think so. I think what we saw was a team that was looked pretty nervous, and I thought the only thing that actually I saw when it was successful was when you put him in a 2-minute drill, and that's when Goff really didn't think, and that's when he moved the ball down the field. But I just thought it was a team that hopefully gained from it, and will be much, if they can keep piecing the pie together, and keeping these guys together, and I think it's just. You ran into a veteran team that's actually been playing pretty good football. Yeah. And I think it was just, you ran into
the defending NFC champs.
Yeah, it was a good football game. I mean, it flat out was, it was a smash mouth football game. But you saw nervous throws. But then Goff would throw some phenomenal balls that like Wood caught a ball on the sideline that was just unreal, right? But, when you start getting, and you got a guy like Matt Bryant who's phenomenal from 50 and in, right? So, it's just, they ran into a little bit more veteran, a little bit more comfortable with the situation. They've been there before where, you just hope that, they can learn from it.
They should have been the defending Super Bowl champs.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Yeah. They were that close. You blow a 25-point lead. But the Falcons showed why they made it that far, they were virtually the Super Bowl champions. They loaded up the line of scrimmage for Gurley. Mm-hmm. The linebackers were very active in taking away the short passes from Gurley. So he looked like he changed his routes a little bit. It also looked like Goff was a little, like we said, a little edgy. Looked like a young quarterback back there. All those things that you hope. And then he didn't get any help from special teams. Yeah, the 2 fumbles on special teams were just devastating.
That's not good.
Yeah, I mean that absolutely changed the game.
Well, they get 10 points off those, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So disastrous. Yeah. Absolutely disastrous.
And it just tells you now that how everybody believes in Atlanta, because when that game was over, they woke up and they were a 2.5-point favorite in Philadelphia.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. That on the road.
Yeah, so on the road. Yeah. So it's just telling you that everybody's like, this team's woken up. So
yeah, that may say more about Las Vegas's, saying Nick Foles isn't the guy to lead Philadelphia. But I get your point. It elevates them. Like, whoa, don't forget NFC champs. Mm-hmm. Coming back and on the road against a pretty good Philadelphia team who's without their number one guy.
Right, exactly. They just took care of the number one or a top offense. Right. So
yeah, I did forget to mention in our opening we are going to go over our divisional selections.
The Rams again just showing that no home. They had a good crowd. About 70,000. The crowd was great. It was absolutely fantastic. It was encouraging, but they're just not very good at home. I mean, they're 3-4. 3-4 at the Coliseum, and 8-7-1, 8-1 away. So 1-0 in England, and 7-1 on the road. Tied for the best road record in the NFL. Only the Steelers and the Patriots could match them. Right, and nobody was better. On the road than the Rams, which is encouraging for next year.
Oh yeah, I think so. Sure. The Chargers, so close. So close.
That sounds like you're talking about a kicker. So close. So
They just signed a kicker.
They made
Yes,
20,
they did.
They made 20 or 30 last
a
year.
guy that didn't even play last year.
Guy who 2 years ago
They
missed
signed
9
Roberto
field goals.
Aguayo,
Yeah,
the
Aguayo,
kid from Florida State.
Yeah. What was he, a second-round pick? Right?
Yeah,
The
he
Buccaneers
was, yeah.
wasted a pretty high pick on him.
And then he didn't even play
He
in
missed
17.
Missed 9 field goals in 2016.
I looked up his
and
numbers.
got cut
for the, yeah.
2017.
Yeah, got cut. And he couldn't even fill in for the kickers that were getting hurt.
Yeah. So he fits right in line with the 5
he's
other.
our guy. He's our guy.
He'll fit right in. That's
Right in.
He meets the job description,
Yep,
right?
That's right.
Yeah.
He when he missed those field goals, he just passed it.
Yeah, but they signed Wisenhunt again. They
hired.
signed Gus Bradley, so they signed both coordinators, to I think 2 and 3 year deals.
And while we're talking about coaches, the Rams lose their quarterback coach,
They did.
Greg Olson, to the Raiders.
Oakland.
He's going up with Gruden, which is I find to be an interesting hire and a great contract. Amazing contract, unbelievable.
Oh,
So that's the third quarterback coach that Goff coming in with the new quarterback coach. That's going to be his third quarterback coach in his 3 years.
Sounds like Josh Rosen.
His first 3 years. Exactly, right? Hopefully he just keeps getting better and better, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Whoever the quarterback coach, incoming quarterback coach will be.
But you said you're in what do they do? Right? Well, they went and signed a kicker, right? If
Hooray.
that was number one on their priority, I'm a little
Exactly.
scared,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I mean, I think kickers are, once you find one that's good, you go, but you just keep getting rid of them until you find the one that works, right? But I still think that we need a little bit of help in the running back position, just as for depth.
Yeah, for sure.
And I saw that, some guys that are out there like LeGarrette Blount and Dion Lewis and Crowell, actually from Cleveland. But again, I still think now that I'm starting to see how really, even like in the college football final, like this defense is like the Rams, right? It's going to keep you in games, right? So if you can keep building on strengthening that defensive line and the corners and deep, I think you just keep doing that. And I still think you need to go out and find maybe a young quarterback, just to kind of get, I don't know if, that's something to possibly think about too.
Would be nice.
But I didn't see where their draft is. Are they deep or
They don't
middle of
even
the
have a
pack?
draft, do they?
Do they have a draft?
I didn't see him in the first 25.
Oh, really?
They traded everybody for Goff.
No, I'm talking about
that's
the
Rams.
Chargers, yeah.
I didn't
They
see
should
that.
have.
I'm thinking they might have one in the
Yeah,
first
they should
round.
have one in
yeah.
the first
yeah.
round.
So, so that's the defense is healthy, and I think they're Gus Bradley's done a great job with them, and I just think if we can keep strengthening that, you almost can convert it into almost like the old Baltimore Ravens, where that defense was more or less won you games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think we do have enough firepower, right, to put points on the board, but depth-wise, keep strengthening the offensive line to protect him because he's really slow, and then maybe finding another running back to help out.
You got to get a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
You got to bring somebody in.
Does every year he just add like a new piece of equipment? He's got like the flak jacket, and he's got like a thing on his knees and one on his elbow. It looks like total emergency ward. Right?
Yeah.
Would any of the veteran guys like Adam Vinatieri or Sebastian Janikowski or Matt Bryant, any of those guys?
Well,
be of interest
that's
to
what
the-
I looked at. So I went and looked at all these guys that are available. But then you just signed this guy today that didn't even kick last year. So I don't know. I mean, I started looking at that going, how do you not go after Matt Bryant? I mean, he's absolutely perfect. He's great.
Right.
I don't think it precludes them from signing a
think-
kicker because I don't think they're
exactly.
giving him any money. I think it's like just like a futures contract, right?
Okay.
Which I don't know exactly what the specifics are on the difference between tendering an actual contract and tendering a futures contract. So we'll see.
And even Auburn had a kicker this year, Daniel Carlson, who was a 3-time Groza finalist. If they want to go, young, bring somebody in that they can have around for 10, 12 years. All right, let's get to our divisional selections. I think we all bombed on the Ram game last week.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah, the spreads again this week are a couple of big ones, and right? A couple of big ones and
Yeah.
a couple of in between
Tights.
tweeners.
Well, let's start with the Atlanta's at Philly.
I'm going to jump on the wagon. I'm just going to continue to follow Atlanta. I usually don't like to go against a home dog, but, I mean, look what they just did with the Rams, and I think the Rams have a little bit more firepower than what Philly does. So I still think they're going to – I mean, I heard Bruce Arians yesterday say I think they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I kind of, I'm going to jump on that wagon. And actually, to be honest with you, I think I might root for them the whole way through now because of what happened last year, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So why not?
I don't think without Wentz, I don't think they've, I don't think.
Yeah, I think the die was cast the minute they lost Wentz, and we knew he was gone for the season. Nick Foles is tolerable. He'll manage a game, but this is a playoff game.
Yeah.
Need to step up another level there.
I'm curious to see if they get beat, what those Philly fans are going to be like. Oh, that could get ugly.
Yeah. I like Atlanta.
That was the other thing about the Ram game, man. That field was slick. Was that an all new field and
brand new?
Brand new.
They installed it after the USC UCLA game,
right.
And I was texting our buddy and saying the same thing. You've got $1 million contracts out there. What are you doing? This is terrible.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be leaving there soon.
Yeah.
So
not that soon.
Not that soon, but yeah,
soon enough.
Yeah.
So I like Ryan over.
Yeah, I'm on the Atlanta bandwagon too.
What about Tennessee at New England? That's probably going to be one of our.
Is that rhetorical? Do we really have to answer?
Yeah, one of our two blowouts.
Yeah, because first of all, if I really thought Tennessee was going to win that game, I wouldn't say it publicly. You'd probably commit me. They have no chance. Just no chance.
2 touchdowns.
It's ugly.
At least.
Yeah. But, I mean, you got to give it to them. They hung in there in that other – I mean, that was Mariota's catching his own pass for a touchdown.
Well, I think Kansas City would have had a better shot at New England. Tennessee's going to have.
Oh,
they
no
beat
doubt
them
about
already
it.
once this year, but
so I mean, they
what
hung
a
in there,
disaster.
and there goes I mean, I don't know if Andy Reid's gone, but these guys are. I mean, there's so many coaching jobs out there. I don't know if you want to fire the guy because due to the fact that I don't know who the hell's going to. Who's out there for you? I mean, you just lost your offensive coordinator, right?
Well, look, objectively speaking, from somebody who is not a Kansas City Chiefs fan, but just looking at it, the way that they collapsed in the second half and the way that they collapsed the second half of the season and the way that they collapsed in the second half of that game, Reed should be gone.
Yeah.
He should be gone.
Yeah.
Start over.
And Smith, they should put him on the market.
I think they probably will.
Yeah.
I think they probably will.
But I think it's going to get ugly. Although, getting back to what's going on up in New England,
we'll talk about that too.
Yeah, I just what a circus that is. But I just think you got too many veterans and too much ammo up there. It was fun while it lasted, Tennessee. To enjoy your.
As Keith Jackson would say, it's a tough road to hoe. Oh my!
Yeah.
Jacksonville at Pitt.
Jacksonville +7. I'm not sure that I would. I wouldn't give the 7. I think Pittsburgh. They've been off. They've gotten rested, which is what Roethlisberger needed. Right? Needed to get. Just everybody's saying, "Oh, this could be his last home game." I don't think Ben feels that way, but it could be, and I'm picking Pittsburgh all the way.
Yeah, Jacksonville
straight up or +7.
Jacksonville beat them 30-9 earlier, but that was the 5 interception game, and they threw 55 passes and only ran the ball 19 times. That's not going to happen this week. I think Pittsburgh will establish a run, and I think they'll. I
mean, that was a bad football game. That Tennessee Jacksonville game. It was bad on both sides.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, Jacksonville. Who did they play? Forget. Sorry. Tennessee played Kansas City, is that right? Or
Carolina?
Carolina. No. That's NFC. Jacksonville beat somebody. It was Buffalo.
Oh, Buffalo, yeah.
It was just a horrendous game to watch. And you're telling me that you're gonna go in there with Jake Bortles and beat Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh?
I wonder what that spread would have been with Tyrod and Buffalo. I think Buffalo might. I mean, even though Jackson might have been right around the same number. I find it interesting. Anyway, I think it's Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
New Orleans at Minnesota.
This is I'm going to call an upset here, and I know I just don't want to go chalk the whole way through, but and it probably will end up being that way. But I'm just wondering if Minnesota has got so much pressure on them to win out to get to the world to get to the Super Bowl.
They're hosting.
They're hosting, and it's just. And if there's anybody that's going to go in there and kind of surprise them, it's going to be Drew Brees. But I'll tell you, Carolina stopped that run pretty good against New Orleans. But again, that kid just steps up and throws 40 and 50-yard touchdowns, and they're in a dome. It's not going to be a weather type of
that's
issue.
not going to be a problem.
But I do believe that if Minnesota does win this game, I think it's got a better chance of, kind of like, I got that game off my shoulders. This is what the playoff atmosphere is like, and then go into to meet in Atlanta or Philly. But I mean, it's I think if there's going to be an upset, Vince, would this be the game that would be the upset, right?
I think so. Or Philadelphia. I think I like Minnesota a lot more than you do. I mean, I saw both those games that the Rams played against those teams, and a little pressure on Breeze, and he crumbled. I mean, he really that was a big game by them. They put pressure, and I think the Vikings are very good.
When you go up the middle on Breeze, right, and you're able to get through, kind of like a Aaron does, you go right up the middle. Then he's too small to see over stuff.
Right.
But if you spread it out and the guys are coming out from the outside more, he can pick you apart. But if you come up through the middle and you got some penetration through the middle, then he struggles. He struggles there. But
Minnesota only lost one game at home this year.
No, I agree. I mean, I'm not saying that but I'm just saying I'll take the other way because I wouldn't be surprised if they have a good running attack, they have good wide receivers, but. Like Vince said, I mean, they're balanced on defense on every single position. I mean, even Goff said that. Goff said, like, every position possible in Minnesota's defense is solid. Yeah. And their linebacker core and defensive ends are really good.
Don't you want to see our buddy Case Keenum?
I'm actually, to be honest with you, I'm rooting for that kid to go all the way and win the damn thing, and then all of a sudden follow somebody because they're still talking about Teddy Bridgewater there,
and Bradford,
and Bradford.
Yeah,
man, I just look at what he's made is just absolutely amazing.
But the other thing is that you look at that and you start looking at quarterbacks and you go, oh, Matt Ryan over Nick Foles. This is one of those games where you might gamble the Breeze over Case Keenum in a situation like this. Yeah. So, I like Minnesota a lot better just because of their defense, and they're a little bit more balanced. But New Orleans can be pretty explosive sometimes, but they can also get shut down. We've seen that happen.
Right.
Seen that happen with the Rams. Carolina stuffed them up pretty good.
They did, yeah. Let's get into that Patriot power struggle, Kraft, Belichick, and Brady. I heard some more on that coming in today. Our buddy Roger Lodge was reading an article by ESPN.com, I guess, but apparently this thing is very real. And they think there might be something that happens after the season. Apparently the owner is behind the quarterback.
Which I find absolutely astonishing. Look, it's Tom Brady, maybe the greatest of all time. I hate saying that. The words are just bitter in my mouth. I hate it. But he could be. I mean, he's a champion, and it's great. He's 40 years old. Mm-hmm. I mean, how long are you going to ride that horse and crack the whip? I mean, come on. I mean, Belichick is clearly.
Yeah, but you gave away Garoppolo for a number two.
No, I can't.
Right? So you're telling me Belichick did not want that to happen.
He was seething when that happened.
Right. So you're telling me Kraft went and did that, right?
Exactly.
So what I find a little bit different is you why did you give him away? Because Belichick's saying, this is my guy. Like,
that's the future.
We've groomed him.
That's the future.
he's,
Exactly.
like Vince says, we got a 40-year-old here that's, one foot's in the grave and the other's on a banana peel, but he's still doing the job. But if he goes down or it's time to say goodbye, here's our guy. And you go give him for a number 2 draft pick.
Yeah. That's
So-
undervalued.
Any Kraft must be mesmerized by, looking into Tom Brady's eyes and believing everything he tells him. I'm going to play till I'm 45. I'm going to be a champion until I'm 45. It's crazy. I personally think it's crazy. I thought that when I heard about the trade to the Niners, I looked at that and I had to do a double take. I'm thinking they only got a 2nd-round pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now I understand that. I understand that because in this next draft, we're talking about a bunch of quarterbacks,
Exactly.
right, that are going in the first,
Right.
So maybe they didn't think they could get a first, but I thought it was crazy.
But aren't they known for really not wanting to, don't they usually give away draft picks to go get more seasoned players? They usually don't go with rookies. Usually what they do is they go, we'll give you our number 2 for a guy that's established already and that gets in the system and understands in football a little bit more. Than they don't like to groom kids, but Garoppolo was a different deal. They got him because they knew they had a superstar in Brady for all these years, and they did exactly what Belichick wanted. They groomed this kid all the way up, and then he goes off and gives them away.
Yeah, I heard too that Brady is not too pleased with good-looking second-string quarterbacks waiting behind him.
Yeah.
He was very happy the day after Garoppolo was traded.
Right.
And that's
And then when Belichick kicked out his trainer, right,
Exactly.
his guru, whatever the hell, his yogi,
Doctor too, right?
whatever the hell he
Doctor.
is,
Yeah.
it almost felt like this sort of tit for tat. Okay, you got rid of my 2nd-string quarterback, I'm getting rid of your trainer.
Right, yeah.
Screw you.
Yeah.
It felt like that. Of course, Belichick doesn't come across. He's just a grumpy guy, right?
Right,
Just a
yeah.
quiet, grumpy guy. He doesn't come across as the kind of guy who would be that demonstrative. But that's what it felt like to me. That it was this demonstration of, okay,
Belichick. Well, I'm just worried about Tennessee. I'm just gonna worry about Tennessee.
Doesn't-
Tennessee's the only thing that's on our mind right now. It's just Tennessee. I'm not talking about doctors or backup quarterbacks.
Doesn't Brady understand that he's not going to play forever? I mean, they've got to start at some point. They have to start grooming somebody.
Well, that's
And
the
this
whole
was-
deal.
this
Is
was the
now
perfect
they
guy.
got to start all
40
over
years
again.
old?
Now they got
Yeah.
to start all over again, or go find a free agent that is maybe not too old and not too young, that they can fit into that system.
What if he gets knocked out in the first game of the season next year? What do they do then?
I guess my question is, did Kraft get rid of the kid that actually went to Indianapolis? He was the 3rd-string kid, or was he the 2nd-string?
was it Brissett or?
I think wasn't he in that system too? And they traded him away.
I'm trying to think. Well, there was Matt Castle that was there.
No. Yeah.
But it was. I think it was Brissett, right?
Yeah, I think so. And he was in that system, and they traded him over to Indianapolis.
Right. Yeah. Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
That's who it was.
Yeah.
Drafted in the 3rd round, 2016, and
By New England, right?
yeah,
And then they gave him away. So I guess my question: who is their backup quarterback?
I don't know. Beats me.
I don't know who their backup quarterback is.
Please hold.
Yeah.
They've traded him all.
Right. He's probably a 4th-string wide receiver.
So the question is, Kraft obviously isn't going anywhere.
Right.
No, no.
Who is the one who does Belichick depart?
Well, where's he going to go? I mean, they're already talking about hiring the defensive coordinator there for the Giants job. That's really the only promising, not promising, but high level, job that's out there that's going to pay.
Coordinator there pretty good too. Is that,
In
New England.
New England, yeah, Josh McDaniel,
McDaniel.
and he's probably going to be up for something too.
I'm
But
sorry.
I think
I'm sorry, dear God. Is it Brian Hoyer? Is Brian Hoyer?
Yes, yeah, Brian Hoyer is your backup
at-
quarterback.
at
Yep,
New
you're
England?
right. Yeah.
Dear God.
Yeah.
Christmas.
So,
But if the owner is siding with the quarterback and Belichick's not pleased with the movement of Garoppolo, I got to think that can't go on very much after the season's over.
It should have been very, very clear, even though he didn't get a lot of opportunities to show it. When Garoppolo did play, he showed that he could be potentially an outstanding quarterback.
Yeah.
And it looked like they were just grooming him to supplant Brady at some point, that they were going to just sort of let Brady fade into the sunset. But what it did was it sort of just turned the NFC West sort of on its ear. And now you've got Carson Palmer has retired and Arizona's at the bottom, and Seattle has looked damaged.
Yeah.
They missed the playoffs. And the way the Niners were playing at the end of the year and the way that the Rams have turned around, it's looking like it's flipping.
I think what's going to happen here is, I don't know how many more years is on Belichick's contract, but he's going to get done, and then he's going to look at, and if he gets to a Super Bowl in this year, he's going to look at him and say, what did Gruden get
Yeah, how many,
in Oakland?
Exactly.
And
he's close.
And Kraft's going to go,
he's close. I mean, Belichick's getting what, $8 million a year? I mean,
is he?
Was it an 8-year, 60-something million?
But this is where I think the parting of the ways might happen. Is you go, well, you're going to give me $10 million for 5 years or something like that, and that's where I think that there might be a parting. And that's why I think Josh McDaniel will stay there.
Yeah, I think he would turn down other opportunities in light of what might happen in.
Right. I think he's
Buffalo.
just going to say, I'm going to be patient here because
exactly.
this rumble is not done. And if he jumps, I have a great chance of getting this job. I would just stay there if I was him. Because obviously he took Cleveland's job, right? And he didn't last too long. He went somewhere for a short period of time.
Okay, let's take a look at the draft. The Sam Darnold and Josh Rosen are out there. I looked at a couple mocks today. How come it's surprising to me that the Oklahoma quarterback wins the Heisman Trophy. Nobody's talking about him. When you talk about quarterbacks, it's Darnold and Rosen, and nobody's talking about.
I think he's small.
Is that the deal?
Mm-hmm.
Too small?
I think he's small, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if the history with him from running from the police doesn't help, but I just think he's a little too small, and I think he got really exposed in the second half of Georgia when they came and started. When he's got time, he's really deadly. He's very precise, but I think he's just when he has to run for his life, I don't know if he makes the best decisions. So.
I saw that one mock draft had the Jets taking him at number 6, Mayfield. So
he could be pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean I don't know. I think he's the fourth best quarterback in this draft. I mean, sure, he's a Heisman Trophy winner. To me, that doesn't mean anything.
No,
frankly.
not really.
I mean, look what you're finding out in Philadelphia. I mean, that kid came from North Dakota State.
Exactly.
It's just, that's why why the kid from Wyoming is very promising.
Josh Allen.
6 foot Josh Allen,
yeah,
6'5", and, he fits that kind of quarterback, kind of look and Brady look kind of deal. But again, you don't know until who you put him with. You know what I mean? Who's surrounding him? Can you run the ball to open up the pass? It's just,
Yeah, I think Mayfield's closer to Sam Bradford than he is to Jason White, but as far as Oklahoma quarterbacks are concerned,
right,
and what he will do in the pros, but I still think, I don't know that he's certainly mid to late first round in my opinion. I think it would be surprising to see him go as early as 6th to the Jets. I think it would be surprising to see 4 quarterbacks go in the first 6.
Well, this draft had Josh Allen going 5 to Denver.
What else do you have?
It's been all over the place. I've seen Darnold going to Cleveland. I've seen him going to the Broncos. I've seen Josh going to the Broncos and going to the Giants. You don't know. Guys are going to trade up. Yeah. It's a lot of different things.
I think that that most of the experts like Kuiper and McShay sort of see Rosen and Darnold is 1 and 2,
Right.
or vice versa. You know, they
Exactly.
sort of have flip-flopped.
Yeah, pretty
but I
much
think right now
awesome.
both of them agree that Rosen is first, Darnold is second, Allen is third, and that Mayfield is fourth in this draft. And the kid from Louisville is coming out as well.
Oh, yeah.
And he could go late first round, maybe more likely a second. But I think it also depends on. Rosen has already sort of expressed a notion that he doesn't want to play in Cleveland, whereas Darnold has said, "I'll play, wherever." So I personally don't think the Browns can waste another pick on a quarterback. Deshaun Kaiser's perfectly fine as far as I'm concerned.
No, they
and I
need
hope
help.
for Sam Darnold's sake that they sell that, get rid of it, draft somebody.
They need a line help.
Yeah.
Open an offensive line.
Yeah.
Gee, that's atrocious.
Exactly. They need a lot of help. And another quarterback coming out early. So what are they going to do? Is it going to be Darnold and Kaiser? I mean, to me, that just strikes me as you're just begging for another 0-16,
Right.
2-14 season. Because we know that Darnold's not ready. Kaiser might be ready next year, and I think if they build around him and they
give him some
protect
help.
him and keep him upright,
I think he has a better chance than. I think he has a better chance than Darnold
next
Kaiser,
year.
Sure,
Yeah.
Next
Yeah,
year,
yeah,
yes,
for sure.
I agree.
Darnold
with
is the first one we've talked about. Darnold needs to go into a system where he needs to learn and be guided by I would say veteran, but experienced guys, right? And now, am I right by saying the Cleveland coach is a big quarterback guru, right? He needs it. He knows how to teach these kids how to do things. But I think he needs to go into, like, say, the Giants. Like, I would like to see Sam go into the Giants role there, go with the Giants, and have Eli just teach this kid how to do things.
Exactly.
They have said that Josh is more of a quarterback that's ready to go tomorrow, right? He's that kind of a quarterback.
Right.
Very precise, strong arm. He's a pocket passer. But he's soft and he's immature. There's the two negatives against him. So again, I mean, these guys, it's just a crapshoot, where I'm a big promoter of, like, spend money on the offensive line and protect these guys.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's going to do any good if he's laying on his back.
But I'm
I'm
really big on the kid from Penn State, the running back. He's really good. He's a guy you could plug in there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Bradley?
Shaquan Barkley.
Juan
Yeah.
Barkley.
He's terrific. I think I don't know what the Browns are going to do. Anybody who says they know what the Browns are going to do,
They've got two picks. They've got
no
the
idea.
fourth pick
Yeah.
from Houston. So they will have a chance
And
to
that's
take
where I think that
two
fourth
big
pick.
linemen.
But I think that fourth pick is going to be it could be a trade. So
Think so?
yeah, because
I think they're better off. They're going to get way more value because they can still get if they're entertaining the thought of getting a quarterback, they can still get a quarterback at 4. They could get Josh Allen at 4.
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
here's a question for you. What do you think Alex Smith is worth, pick wise? A number 1 or a number 2?
Garoppolo's a 2,
Right.
Yeah.
Smith can't be a 1,
Or he's a late 1, right? Maybe he's a late one, a 20-something, right?
Yeah, no higher.
And that's what I'm trying to say is, how about Alex Smith coming in as your quarterback and you trade for one of your, what do they have, four picks or something? The first,
no.
I know they
Cleveland's
two
got
in-
a lot of picks, right? In the first
that?
couple, Cleveland.
They got 2 in the first round, 1 and 4.
So how? Oh well, it might be a 3-teamer or something like that. You might want to do, but that's a guy that you could plug in there in Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
For a draft pick.
Oh boy, I wish my Cleveland Browns friends were listening to you. They'd be doing this.
Well, let me
Alex
ask, I guess-
Smith?
Well, would you rather have him than Kaiser?
No, okay. I'm not a Browns fan, so
Right.
it was a frustrating
Neither
year.
am I, but I mean,
it was a frustrating year. So as a fan, I might say, okay, yeah, let's get better with a veteran quarterback.
Let's try to win a game.
Yeah, let's try to win a game.
That's a good start.
But overall, I think Deshaun Kaiser's got some upside.
I
so if I
absolutely
were
agree.
a fan, and I didn't mind losing, I had some patience, I'd say let's just keep Gruen Kaiser.
Okay.
Get some big linemen around him.
Yeah, take those picks and grab a couple linemen.
Trade that first pick for a big, lineman and
the Texas. There's an offensive lineman from Texas that's very high up there ranked. So that's what I would do. I just keep protecting the guy. Because your veterans like Joe Smith.
Connor Williams, Texas, a tackle.
Yeah.
Indy's projected to take him for a little Andrew Luck protection.
Yeah. Well, they need to get Luck back first.
They need to unscramble his brain before they get him back out there.
What about the Rams? They have the 24th pick.
Mm-hmm.
I saw.
Well, it depends on who they re-sign. I mean, obviously, they March 15th is when they can start signing free agents. So I think we're going to see a lot happen, and we'll sort of know once
better idea which way they're going.
Better idea which way they're going to go. Yeah. I mean, at this point, are they going to have to replace Sammy Watkins? Are they going to have to replace a Connor Barwin?
Yeah.
Are they going to have to replace a Tremaine Joyner? I mean, we've just talked about 3 different positions that they're going to have to fill, and 24th doesn't always get it done with somebody who can step in and sort of fill that. So it's going to be a combination of re-signing guys that they have, signing new free agents, and getting that pick right. It could be another wide receiver. I mean, we've seen that they're not. They love picking, getting more wide receivers. And
your buddy from USC just declared too.
Deontay Burnett.
Yeah.
He's small.
Yeah.
He's a little undersized.
I was shocked.
And we saw during the season that he can have some really big games and that he can really burn. And then there are other games where he can just get held up. And they'll take it away.
Is that kind of telling you that he just doesn't like who's behind him in quarterback to make him have a big year? That this was the year to kind of get his name out there?
Burnett?
Yeah. Because he would have been a senior, right?
Yeah. It's a good question. I don't know. I don't know that he looked down and said, "Oh God, it's Matt Fink and Jack Sears." Yeah. These guys aren't going to be thrown to me.
Right.
His stock probably wasn't going to go up. It was probably the right business decision for him to do. But if JT Daniels steps in and becomes the next guy, and the heir apparent, I think in the article that I wrote on Darnold leaving that's coming out shortly. You were talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown from Mater Dei, who is JT Daniels' receiver, and that they're both coming, and these guys could be transformative type players. Yeah, they could really keep it going.
Yeah.
But if Jack wins the job, is this receiver wanting to go somewhere else, or
no? I know, because JT Daniels, again, coming out early from high school. Right. I mean, he's even coming out a full year early. No, I think Amon-Ra, his brothers played at Notre Dame and Stanford, Equanimous and Osiris. I'm not sure which of them got the better name. I think I'm leaning toward Osiris.
Yeah.
But Amon-Ra is pretty cool. Equanimous, I'm not down with Equanimous. Yeah. But Amon-Ra's you got to watch some of his film. He's ridiculous. I mean, I've seen a couple of his games on cable.
Yeah.
He's pretty darn good. Yeah. And JT Daniels says whenever he talked to a college coach, when they were recruiting him, he'd say, when you see Amon-Ra, have you seen another wide receiver like him in the last 20 years? And JT Daniels was quoted as saying that all the coaches have told him, no, I have not seen a wide receiver as strong, as fast, good route runner as Amon-Ra.
Is he on the bigger side too?
He's not tall. He's about 6 feet, but he can bench press just ridiculous amounts. And he's a smart kid. He speaks 3 languages.
Wow.
Coach Rollinson from Mater Dei said that he took his SATs in German. His mom's German.
In German.
He's fluent in German. He speaks French, obviously. Speaks English, but he took his SATs in German.
Amazing.
That's crazy.
That's amazing.
Wow.
So a smart kid, strong kid, fast. Watch some of the video.
Yeah,
Amon-Ra St. Brown will be, whether it's JT Daniels slinging it to him or one of the other guys fighting it out in Fink or Jack Sears. We'll see.
I'll let you guys explain to me what I missed by not watching the Georgia-Alabama all SEC final.
Yeah. Well, you didn't miss much in the first half.
That was all Georgia.
It was, and it was, I thought for sure it was just going to keep getting uglier, to be honest with you. And because Georgia was starting to figure it out. And then all of a sudden, it was a huge call.
Say what you want about Nick Saban. You can hate that guy, but you got to respect.
A big call.
Because you could tell he was getting frustrated on the sidelines. And when he came off and they interviewed him on the subtext was, right, I might be making a change at quarterback. Now, he didn't come across and say that, but he says, we got to do something different. And the fact that he actually went to that freshman, Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah,
come on. That was ballsy. Like that.
Yeah,
but again, Saban, there's part of me that says, yeah, that's really ballsy. And there's another part that's like, I'm Nick Saban. I can do what I want.
That's right.
This and the claim is that Tagovailoa was saying he might transfer next year. So he's thinking, what do I got to lose?
And
right?
I was noticing Hurt was just not making quick decisions. He would just sit
seemed
in the pocket.
Overwhelmed. He seemed overwhelmed.
And then he'd dive or he'd just kind of get a yard or
his
whatever.
His zone read was off.
Yeah, it really was.
And some of that was Georgia was really stuffing it up. I mean, they were playing great.
Well, because what they did, they said, you beat me long because we're going to stuff it up. We're not going to let you run. We're not going to let you guys run. You're going to have to beat me long. And, they have great linebackers and the front line. And not just that, your defensive coordinator from last year, or is it last year or 2 years ago, is the head coach. He knows exactly how to play against you, right? So it's not like, it's not rocket science. He didn't change anything, right? It's still the same thing I saw in practice every single day. So he just started bringing the lot at him. And like you said, Hurt was just not making quick decisions. So what did they do in the second half? They brought this kid in for a spark, and they said, we played fast. Just play fast. Don't let him think, right? And he just started making plays.
He was making plays.
And I'll tell you.
And he's a big dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he's big.
They said that this kid at seventh grade was slinging against high school seniors that were D1 commits. And he was holding his own against them as a seventh grader, just playing games, on the field and stuff.
Same high school as Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, exactly. So the rumors were going that the fans were starting to hear that he was starting to tear it up in practice. And then they started coming out and saying, hey, give this kid a chance. Give this kid a chance. Well, Saban, man, he's just straightforward. And right. So it was to the point where he goes, we're not going to score in the second half if I don't make this change. So he made this change, and it got quite interesting because this kid started making things happen. Now, you talk about maturity for a freshman. These kids, by the way, Saban played a true freshman at quarterback in the second half. He played a true freshman running back in the second half. And I think he had two true freshmen on the front line, right? So he was just making things happen. So he makes a really bad decision in the third quarter. He throws a ball where his wide receivers are blocking, and he throws a pick. Saban's just going nuts. The next picture you see is this kid around Saban. He's got his arm around him going, that's all right, coach. My bad. We'll get it back. I mean, this kid was a freshman, right?
He did.
And he ended up swinging.
So confident.
Swinging it around.
Confident, right? Not cocky. Confident and, just young enough to not be scared off, right?
Right.
To not know what he doesn't know, right?
And you can tell when he started putting points on the board, that defense for Alabama started getting better and better and better. And I was texting some friends going, this is when they step it up. When they got a chance to tie this to go to overtime, this is when you knew. And he threw a ball at somebody else, and Ridley came in and caught that ball. He was throwing it at 22, and Ridley came in from behind a guy to catch the ball to tie it up, right? And then bad decision by the safety in the because they sack him for a 12-yard loss. It was a freshman
second
mistake,
and 26.
right? Yeah,
it was a 16-yard loss.
Yeah, and what he does is he just reads, right? But there's nobody. It's not that they got 4 wide receivers and they're sending them up. They have one guy on the left-hand side. So for some apparent reason, this safety should have been sliding over anywhere because there was nobody going up the middle.
Right.
So he reads his eyes and gets him off just a little bit to where he can sling it in that corner.
On the game winner?
On the game winner, yeah.
No, it was an all go. It was like, we're not going to run the ball up the gut.
No.
It's like, beat your guy.
Yeah.
And that guy had no help on, over top,
right
in the corner. It was a great play offensively. He made the throw. It was a bad great route, just a bad read by the safety.
Yeah, it was a bad read.
You got cover 2. I mean, right? You got cover 2.
Yeah.
Where are you? Why are you standing? Get over there.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
There was nobody in the slot that was going to go up, right? It was just this guy out here. So when he kind of let him go, he's like, well,
or at least,
my help?
I mean, he was close enough to him to where, if he cuts the route off short, he's got it covered.
Right.
Because he thought he knew that he had help over top, but he didn't. That guy didn't get over.
So it doesn't sound like this guy's going to transfer anytime soon.
Well, that's just it.
Now the whole big thing is just hurt. I mean, now this kid's not going to transfer. Now is he your number one? Now they're talking this guy might be a Heisman Trophy candidate next year. And now you got a guy going, whoa, what about me?
The greatest thing that I saw on social media at halftime was, hey, UCLA fans, say hello to your new quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa.
Oh.
It's like, Bruins.
Yeah.
And then they went from like, hey, he's going to transfer, and he could choose us and Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
And now he's going to stay at Bama.
And then... Yeah, and then you find out the next day that Fram's back up, and because he won that job.
Right.
He calls Notre Dame. Notre Dame says we're not interested. Now he's going to Washington. Wow. It's just amazing how these kids are just going all over the place. I mean, here's a guy in Georgia who wins the job. Then he ends up losing the job to a true freshman. He gets him all the way to the national championship game, and now this kid the next day is going to Washington. Tried to go to Notre Dame. Kelly says, we're fine here. So he goes to Washington, where he's from. So that's unbelievable.
Well, coaches can move around. Why not the kids?
Right, yeah.
But, say what you want about Saban. It took a lot of balls to pull the trigger and make that decision.
Yeah, especially in that type of a game. It's not like you're,
So you can just fast forward all the way through the first half. Because I know you taped it. Because I know you're a big fan.
At least for the first quarter, and then you can watch what Georgia did in the second quarter.
The end of the second quarter, and then from that on, it's exciting from that point on.
Got it.
Yeah. Because I know you still taped it.
Let's talk a little bit about the Lakers and Luke Walton. Kuzma came out very supportive of the coach, said he's not lost the room. The players love playing for him. He didn't say all the players. He said most of the players. But there hasn't been anything from the front office about this, saying, he's our guy. And they've been mysteriously silent regarding
they're not,
what his future might be.
They're not responding. And some of that sort of reminds me of, how politicians are told to answer a question. If they don't like the question, you reject the premise.
Right.
And they should be at least rejecting the premise.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
That's what the front office should be doing. And for me, there's a lot going on in this. I mean, this feels like an onion, right? Okay, we know LeVar Ball is a blowhard, right? We know that. Right. All right. We knew that there was never going to be a way where he was going to shut his mouth. We knew that. Magic Johnson can say all he wants about, I got it. I'll talk to him. He's already talked to him, and this guy just knows that every time he says something, it's more clicks, it's more money, it's more. So we know that he's a carnival barker, and Magic and Pelinka need to sort of either dismiss him or address it in a way where they reject the premise and give Luke. Luke was 39-4. He does it with the Warriors when he was interim for Steve Kerr. Okay, he had their attention. right? He had their respect. So the thing that LeVar Ball is going to blow. Okay, let him blow. Let him blow. I don't listen to him. The Lakers shouldn't listen to him. It's fine. But when Lonzo Ball comes out and gives this lukewarm response, like, I'll play for whoever, I can play for whoever. To me, that's a red flag. Yep. And that means your dad's in your head and you're not concentrating. And we just made the biggest mistake by drafting you.
Yep.
Comes back to your article
That's
on
right.
the website.
Yep. Exactly.
Dear Lakers, please don't draft.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you knew you were going to get LeVar. Yep. And the thing that LeVar is not, and people who support LeVar and like what he says and think he's funny, he's not patient. He's not a patient guy. It's this. I want this now. I want my 16-year-old to play professional ball. You're not, reinstating my kid at UCLA. I'm taking him out. My kid's coming out after his first. It's just, we know he's not patient. And the thing that we need with this Lakers team is patience.
Right.
And you can't have somebody chirping in your ear the whole time. So Kuzma comes across, he's obviously the rookie leader in points and scoring and just performance this year. And Lonzo is second. And that's not how it was supposed to be.
No.
And Lonzo should have been the one saying, I love Luke. Luke is my coach. Shut up, Dad. But it was Kuzma. And I think that's evidence to everybody right now that Kuzma's going to have a longer life with this team, a longer career with the Lakers than Lonzo Ball. Unless LeVar Ball gets hit by a Lithuanian bus.
No. Can we make that happen? But here's the other thing is Ball, is he becoming the next, putting his kid in the to potentially being the next Colin Kaepernick, which is
a pariah, right?
Nobody wants him.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden he's out of the NBA because your dad talks too much. And you know what? You're great, but the kid right behind you is just as good, or then my next draft will be good and I'll get another kid and, we'll make, but you know what? We're not going to have to deal with your dad.
That's right.
And so is this turning into a deal where LeVar Ball could be buying a home in Europe because that's where his kids are the only one, that's where they're wanted.
Yeah.
Because, they don't mind his mouth being, going off. And that's where I think, Magic and these guys need to sit them in a room and say, this is real simple. Are you going to shut your mouth? If you're not, and you're going to speak your mind, we can make this really bad for your kid.
Yeah, I think LA Times writer Bill Plaschke sort of summed this up the best when he said, Lonzo Ball makes the Lakers better, but how much better and at what cost?
Right.
To me, that sums it up perfectly.
Exactly.
The Lakers have invested a lot, but they're not so invested in this kid that they need to put up with this, especially when somebody like Kuzma has emerged as the Lakers Rookie of the Year. Lonzo's terrific. I mean, 11 boards and 11 assists last night. His shot is getting a little bit better. He's going to be very good. But is he once in a generation?
And
no.
And is this circus-like act that's going on, is this now shying away from these, quote, seasoned veterans that they're wanting to come in and kind of calm this team down? Is that hurting now? Like,
exactly.
Is George going, hey, look, I'll stay in Oklahoma City. I'm fine. Okay. I'm okay here. Yeah. Do I want to play in LA? Yeah, but I don't want to be around that Yahoo.
Yeah.
So is that hurting? Is that hurting the potential of them building this team?
Yeah,
to where
they may
want
have
it
the
to
money,
be?
but might be nobody out there that'll take.
John, you said something off air was like, do you want to snitch in your clubhouse, right, in your locker room? And it reminds me of like what the Lakers and Magic and Rob Pelinka did with the last snitch they had in their locker room. They got rid of him. D'Angelo Russell. When he posted that video of Swaggy P, right, that sort of outed him with some other girl, right? That was bad, right? And everybody kept saying, you can't have that sort of thing in the locker room. But then it was just sort of, things are going to smooth over. But the first chance they got, D'Angelo Russell was gone.
Oh, yeah.
And that's fine. If it was a business decision and you were trying to get rid of, some contracts, and thank God they got rid of Mozgov's contract with that. But if some of that was you know what, he can't be trusted in the locker room, and that just added to the reasons why we were able to get rid of him, then the same goes for Alonso, because is the dad making this up out of whole cloth? Just from, the whole cloth from thin air? Is he making it up? Yeah. Well, not when the son comes out and says, I'll play for anybody.
That's not
that is so lukewarm that it almost feels, he didn't dispute what his father said. He didn't dispute it.
Right.
He didn't, whereas Kuzma had this full-throated endorsement of Walton, we didn't hear that from Lonzo.
No, not at all.
And to me, that's equal in betrayal to what D'Angelo Russell did. So you get rid of D'Angelo, you can get rid of Ball.
Right.
And like Kalashki says, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, who's going to take him? I mean,
that's where it
knowing
comes.
His history, knowing his history now and what a blabbermouth his Bonzo is, why would anybody want him?
There you go. Is he going right down the? I mean, Kaepernick was a little bit more political, but I mean, it's going down to the deal where no GM wants to deal with dad.
That's right.
That's
right.
I mean, I don't. What's crazy about it is we don't hear this about any other player in the NBA.
No.
About somebody's parent.
No.
Right? Have we ever? I don't know if we ever have. Right?
I don't recall.
And that's what I'm like. You're turning this into AYSO soccer or whatever.
It's bad, and to me, and I've said it before on the air that I think there is this sort of line of pro LeVar and anti LeVar that unfortunately cuts across a racial divide. There were no African American coaches who came out and said ESPN needs to stop quoting him and shut him up. It was Steve Kerr, Van Gundy, and one other,
Mavericks.
Carlisle.
And
Carlisle. 3 white coaches.
Right.
And every time I listen to an African American announcer, they think LeVar Ball is funny. They think he's a good dad. They think he's elevated his kids. They think he's just looking out for himself. There is a different viewpoint on each side based on race.
Right.
And it's amazing that we're still having those types of conversations in 2018.
You'd think, yeah.
But we are having that. We are having those. So to me, there is a divide. And I think with Pelinka and Magic, a white guy from Michigan, a black guy from Michigan, there's probably a little bit of divide there. We'll see. We'll see how this plays out. Yeah. I think Ball, with some patience, without all the chirping from his dad, he could be something, and he could elevate this team. But now we're talking about, I've heard rumors that Jordan Clarkson, Julius Randle, to the Knicks.
On the trade,
they're on the trading block.
Yep.
So they're not ready to give up on Lonzo Ball, but it's sure gonna be hard.
Yeah.
And so you asked the question of whether big name free agents would want to play for Luke Walton. They don't have to look at what's happening in L.A. They can look at what he did as an interim coach with the Golden State Warriors. And one of the things is, well, would LeBron want to play? He plays for Ty Lue.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, come on. That's a guy that he can just like, it's my team, Ty.
Yeah.
Those wins and losses should be going in LeBron's coaching, columns. So he can play for Walton. He's going to be fine with Walton. Yeah. And there was a lot of professional guys, world champion guys, who could play for Walton. Mm-hmm. So,
right.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how
we'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah. Oh, my camera.
Oh boy. That's a first. That's a first malfunction.
That's good. That's okay.
There you go.
Are we all right?
I think we're all right. That's good.
Look at that.
That was me just trying to get
15 yards.
Yeah, exactly.
15 yards, unsportsmanlike kind of.
Fumble on the one.
Fumble on the one.
I need a timeout.
Not much to say about the Clippers. They just get every day they get another injury.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's.
Nope.
They're reminding me of the Ducks, the way lose people.
Yeah.
Kings, I guess they're coming off their bye week now, or did they?
No, they're still
in.
Yeah,
the
they're
bye
still on it for a few more days.
week?
Drew Doughty, 30 points in 42
That's
games.
incredible.
On pace for his best offensive season.
Wow.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
He's been, again, that's, you see what happens when you just change a little
system.
bit of the system and the pace of the game. Doughty has been terrific. Kopitar has stepped it up again. He was, these guys get a little healthy. Dustin Brown, I mean, it looks like the guys that played on the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, we got Ducks
teams.
Kings this weekend, right?
Yeah, this weekend.
Well, this thing, the Stevens transition is kind of like what McVay did with the Rams. I mean, you bring in a new coach with new philosophy with the same players, and look what happens.
Yeah.
Right, and you get somebody healthy, or so I equate Gurley with Quick. Last year Gurley not quite up to his potential. Quick was out for the whole season, and sort of the same thing with Gurley.
I don't think we're no. That's okay. We're almost done. I'm done.
Yeah, apparently.
That's all right. No, there you go. Now you had it a minute ago.
There.
No, uninterrupt.
Okay.
That's
Well,
Don't worry about it.
You have a lot of cutting and pasting.
Don't worry about it.
And action. You look like you're in there.
But it's coming up with
says,
line.
Unsupported signal or something. I'm in there now. I'm gone. I'm in. That's okay. Just
There you are. There
Yeah,
it is.
we're
Don't,
all right.
don't touch it.
yeah, that's good.
All right.
Um,
There, now he's back.
Trojans lose that heartbreaker in.
I don't want to talk about
Well,
Stanford.
actually,
I don't want to talk about
well,
it.
I mean, USC and UCLA lost
UCLA
tough
lost.
ones up there.
Yeah, both of them. I'd like to see what
Yeah,
happens.
the
when they
double
come
I
back.
mean,
overtime
I guess my
loss.
question is, and I don't know, I just started watching a little bit of basketball. Is Stanford that good, or did they?
I'd like to see what happens to Stanford when they come down
Because
here.
it's reminding me
I
now
didn't
that I
think
look
so.
at the Pac-12, and it's reminding me again of the football conference.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's going to beat everybody. You got Arizona State, you got Arizona, you got Stanford,
Right.
you got USC, you got UC. You got 5 teams that have a chance of making the tournament.
Right.
But don't count Colorado or Utah out. I mean, these teams are
Yeah.
playing. I mean, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
It is.
And USC plays Colorado at home, and it's early to say this, but that's like a must-win.
Yeah.
The Trojans cannot lose to Colorado at home.
No.
They just can't. That's tonight. That game's tonight. They can't.
is it?
10,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
10-6 and 11-6. I think Colorado's 10-6 is late. The Trojans are 11-6.
Yeah.
The Trojans manhandled Cal, and Cal wasn't
Yeah,
shooting well.
right.
And then they had to wait that extra day, and Stanford, they played better than Stanford. That was encouraging.
Yeah,
They played
yeah,
better
yeah.
than Stanford, and it was just an excruciating and crushing
yeah.
loss.
That's a toughie.
They could, to get 2 wins on the road would have been.
Oh,
It gives you a little
Yeah.
bit more margin for error. Now you come back home 1-1, and that's a tough Colorado team.
yeah.
Yeah.
That Colorado.
They've got to put
team is
that
tough.
behind them. Turn the page. Put that behind them, and move forward. Hopefully, they'll do it tonight. Nothing in the hot stove league to talk about. Everything's
Not
slow
anything.
so far. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I mean, does it surprise anybody at all that the 2 teams that are sort of in the hunt for Hosmer are 2 small market, Kansas City and San Diego? You can either stay in Kansas City, and San Diego's looking for him. It would be, and I think I heard this on San Diego Sports Radio, the biggest contract
Yeah.
in Padres history.
Exactly.
If they were to sign, what is it, 7
years.
140, whatever.
Didn't they just signed Adrian Gonzalez too?
Well, they will. They said that's their backup plan. If they can't get Cosmer, they're going to sign Adrian Gonzalez. Come back and play first base for him.
Yeah, but we talked about that, which just seems silly to move Will Myers,
Just-
who is your franchise guy.
Adrian Gonzalez needs to go to the American League. That's
Be a
the whole deal,
DH.
DH for first baseman type of deal.
I don't know. Hosmer and JD Martinez, those are the 2 big, position player free agents that are still out there.
Yeah.
And those are big numbers. They won a lot of years in big numbers. And then you've got a couple of pitchers, like Arrieta and Darvish.
Moustakis is out there too.
I haven't heard much about him.
Yeah,
I haven't heard anybody.
either.
You know, I haven't heard.
anything about anybody.
Did you see the Astros?
Houston, the Astros just signed Garrett.
They're trading for Garrett Cole.
Cole.
Yeah.
Oh, they're trading. I thought they picked him. Okay.
Yeah.
That would be a trade because I think Cole's under contract.
Let's see what I think I might have that.
Now I've heard both ways that that's a done deal and that it's not a done deal. So,
Well, we'll find out. Any last minute information there, John Boy?
No, I'm sorry. Just learning how to use my phone. No.
I think that'll wrap it up then for today. We are out.
good night.
Peace.